Hey Anthony, why are you wearing a hat? I thought you'd ask that. Keeps the rain off my head. Hello and welcome back to the Anthony James YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be reviewing The Expanse Season 2. Oh my god. Thank you so much to all those people who said in the comments, Anthony, you got to check this show out. Because let me tell you, I am absolutely loving it. I am absolutely loving it. You want to know how much I'm loving this show? That's how much I'm loving this show. Honestly guys. I am up. This is exactly my sort of thing. I've only read the prologue so far, so I'm a very slow reader, if I'm honest with you. Now, I don't even mean in terms of commitment. I mean in terms of it takes me about a minute and a half to read a page. I don't know what it is. I don't like skimming through and going quick. I like to take all the details in. So don't keep asking me, am I finished the books yet? Because I'm telling you now, it'll probably take me a year or two to finish all the books. That's how slow a reader I am. As well as that, I do read lots of books in general, so I'll let you know when I'm on the second one. But I'm so excited to read them because this show, it just keeps getting better. It just keeps getting better. This season, already from my review on season 1, I did love the show then. I enjoyed the hard sci-fi of it. Thank you very much for someone for telling me that term in the comments. I knew it in terms of fantasy, hard fantasy, soft fantasy. For some reason, my head never went to compare hard sci-fi, soft sci-fi. But this is definitely sort of towards the harder end of sci-fi. Not like. But having said that, I'm pretty sure we have aliens in this show now. Alien technology anyway. If that was, because that was my thought in the first season, that proto-molecule, I thought it might be something to do with alien technology. And I don't know if it's been fully confirmed that that's what it is, but definitely there's some characters having their suspicions. But anyway, this series, it's really, really good. And I'm having trouble collecting my thoughts here because I was really impressed with where it went on season 2. Okay, so I'll start off here. I love the politics of this show. The political aspects of this show remind me a lot of Game of Thrones. A lot of Game of Thrones. In the way that it shows the political arguments between the leaders, and it talks about the strategy, what they're going to do. But it very rarely shows the actual fighting and the actual war happening. So that is, in my opinion, it adds extra tension. It adds extra importance to those conversations because we're not actually seeing. It's sort of the higher ups playing chess, and it's really interesting dynamic because a lot of the characters who are the higher ups, so to speak, on Earth, don't seem to care how many people lose their life and whether there's meaningless death in this war, which is obviously a take on real war. The people at the top, they view you as a commodity, or they view you as like a sacrificable, that you can actually say, right, those 1,000 people, yeah, we'll lose 1,000, but it does matter. And I like the Game of Thrones aspects of that. Now it obviously makes sense because apparently the book is written by two people. I don't know the names yet because I'm only new to the book, but it's the two people under the name James S.A. Corey. But basically, one of them is George R. R. Martin's assistant. Is that correct? Yeah, so it makes sense that they would be inspired by George's work because it's very, very a Song of Ice and Fire-esque in the way that the political drama unfolds. I also noticed that it is a little bit like the parallels don't stop there in terms of Game of Thrones for me as well. Like I kind of view like the war that's going on between all the houses in Game of Thrones can kind of be viewed as like Earth and Mars's war, or that sort of it's a Cold War at the minute in the season 2. But I think at the end of the season they might be going to war soon. So basically, it's a Cold War, so to speak, at the minute, and there's every little movement is highly analyzed, saying, well, that's an act of war, this is an act of war, and it really gets into the nitty-gritty of that. So they're sort of like the houses in Game of Thrones. Then you've got like the OPA. You've got the OPA, which in my mind are like the Greyjoys in Game of Thrones. They're off on the side saying, no, we've been treated badly. We have been downtrodden. We need to rise up. That's the OPA. Then at the same time, you've got this looming threat that all of these little wars between the people don't really matter at the end of the day, because there's this looming threat of the proto-molecule. And that proto-molecule, in my mind, is really similar. Especially, well, I don't know where the proto-molecule is going to go yet, but in the looming threat of it feels very much like the White Walkers in Game of Thrones, and that would make like James Holden and his crew. That would make them like the Watchers on the Wall, because they seem to be the only people who are 100% caring about stopping the proto-molecule. So they're like the watch. They're like the Watchers on the Wall, the Night's Watch, which is really strange, because that would make James Holden like Jon Snow, which is really ironic because they look so much alike. But that's sort of where my head is with the show at the minute. I'm viewing them it's sort of like a Game of Thrones in space. Obviously, very different shows, very different stories, but the similarities definitely are there. You can see how there's been inspirations from George R.R. Martin's work, in my opinion. Another thing I'll mention before I get into the spoiler section is I really, really liked the introduction of the character Bobby Draper. Now, I like that she's a badass woman who just is so much more sort of able. Sort of, I suppose Amos would be like her equivalent. She's like right on the level of Amos in terms of ability to sort of kill, I suppose. We got a little sneak peek of Mars, just a little sneak peek. I would have loved to see more of Mars, if I'm honest with you, because we didn't really. We saw, I think they were training outside at the very beginning. Since the start of this show, I've really wanted to spend a bit of time on Mars. Don't tell me, don't spoil it for me, but I'm hoping that at some point we're going to spend more time on Mars itself, because I like the Martians. I like their vision of turning Mars green like Earth, and I like how Earth doesn't treat it properly, and that continues in this series. So you meet sort of Marines, and Bobby Draper is sort of the leader of the little group there, and they are very much fighting for Mars. Mars seems to be very much everyone's in on it together. They all want the same goal. Really, really cool contrast between Mars and Earth. Now, someone mentioned that I didn't talk about Avasarala in the last video, and they're right. I did mention the politics, but I didn't mention her specifically. The character of Avasarala, I really do enjoy that character. I think she's, I believe that she's got a lot of integrity, and it's really, really nice to see a character with such integrity in that sort of really harsh political world. Having said that, she is able to handle herself. She's very, very skilled at that. See, my initial thought when I was trying to analyze that in terms of the Game of Thrones, I was thinking she's a bit like Ned Stark, I suppose, and Ned Stark is very virtuous and he has a lot of integrity. But the difference between them is that Ned Stark politically isn't very savvy at all, whereas Avasarala is very savvy and she knows what to do, and she controls an awful lot herself. So it's really cool to see the person with the integrity being actually one of the people who's so skilled in terms of the political discourse and stuff. Usually the sort of morally right person, I know everyone's got different morals, but you know what I mean. The morally right person, in my mind, they are usually put across as someone who's maybe not as conniving or not as savvy, but Avasarala, fantastic. Right. I'm going to get into the spoiler section. I'm trying to speed along these reviews, so I'm already at 9 minutes. I'm saying speed along. It's not going to be a speedy review, but let's get into the spoiler section now. So anyone who's actually seen season 2 of The Expanse can enjoy this one too. Of course, if you're someone who doesn't care about spoilers, come on ahead. Okay, so the idea of them going to try and stop Aero Station, that had me. I was full of tension that whole time. Because in my mind, going into that station or going near that station, I was just so worried about the proto-molecule leaking out. The sort of tension they've got with the proto-molecule at this stage, I'm really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying the sort of not knowing how it spreads. It's very foreign. I'm enjoying that. So when they went to the Aero Station, and then eventually the station actually moved and dodged the Nauvoo completely out of nowhere. That surprised me. And this mystery of the proto-molecule is actually a really intriguing mystery. And I mentioned in my first review about The Expanse that I want to reiterate here, is that this show has a lot more mystery than I thought it would. It's a lot more sort of, they keep a lot of cards close to their chest. And I wonder, I know that there's going to be 9 books, 8 out now, and I know that I'm sure there's going to be at least 9 series. Hopefully it goes that long. But I'm sure, like, in my mind, I'm thinking, is this proto-molecule storyline going to go the whole way through? Is this the looming threat the whole time, like the White Walkers in Game of Thrones? Or are they going to reveal and, like, use it or find out how to do it at some point next season after? Like, how long is this proto-molecule mystery going to go on? Because in my mind, although I find it a very intriguing mystery, I would love to know I want to know what it is soon, because at the minute there's not much given to us. It's sort of a plague. It's sort of growing. It wants to expand. We know that it can control stations now. It almost channels through people. So the reveal that Julie Mao was actually controlling the station and that she was taking it home to Earth, she was just thinking about going home, that immediately made me think, maybe the proto-molecule isn't just trying to destroy things, because that was Julie Mao doing that. It wasn't like the proto-molecule wanted to go and kill Earth. It was Julie Mao accidentally taking them there. So there's a whole nuance going on there that haven't quite got my head around. Obviously, and then you have to add into the fact that the ship got completely when it got to Saturn eventually, the ship got completely opened up and it like sort of deconstructed it. Also, Adam Savage was there, which I thought was funny. Did take me out of it for a minute. I'm not going to lie, but at the same time, it would have taken me out completely if he was just in one scene and then he wasn't again. But he was there the whole way up to the ship being deconstructed, so that was fine. That was fine for me. I'm glad he got the cameo because I think I've heard that he's a big fan of the show. So I'm very happy with that. But at the same time, when I first saw him, I was like, Adam Savage, So like it was a bit like the Ed Sheeran in Game of Thrones moment, just to keep bringing it back to Game of Thrones. Sorry about that, but. Right, going forward, I really, really like the idea of Fred Johnson having these missiles because it adds an extra dynamic to the political sphere. Because if so far the OPA have sort of just been viewed as terrorists, I suppose, by the Earth and Mars, and they want to be viewed as legitimate, they want to have a legitimate spot at the negotiating table, basically. And I just wonder whether Fred Johnson having these missiles is going to cause that to happen. There's already starts to be a bit of friction between the OPA, but I think eventually in my mind, the OPA is going to sort of I think they're going to join together. Like I think they're going to be connected, but maybe they're not. Like the way the Belters have sort of come about, like they're all about survival. So I wouldn't be surprised if they never were able to sew those differences together and create one big people. But we'll see. So I've given a lot of my thoughts there. I'm not going to make this video a 20-minute video, so I'm going to be very quick here. I said in the comments of my last Expanse video that I was going to try and predict one or two things because I like the idea of seeing if I'm right or wrong. I want to be a bit like Conrad from my After Dark podcast every Monday and Saturday, by the way. So let me predict. I've got a couple of things I'd like to predict. The first thing that I want to predict is, and I think this, I don't know how this fits in the world, if I'm honest with you, because we haven't seen anything like this yet. But there was a line from Naomi talking about Amos when she was talking to Miller, because Miller and Amos started off very fractious in this episode, in this series. She said he's like, think of like, the story Pinocchio. Now, that immediately made me think, oh, like he's not a real boy, and he's not a real boy. So I think Miller said, oh, like you're the angel guiding him, something like that. So I think they try to swerve us off that lead there. Okay, so I'm going to say something crazy that probably isn't real. I think that Amos might be an android, or a whatever the word is for a half human, half android, something like that. I think that he might... See, this is a bit strange because I don't view the show as having anything like androids or robots. You know, it's not really that type of show. But Naomi said, like Pinocchio. So I know she's an engineer. So did she build him? Maybe she's Geppetto in this scenario. So maybe she built him. Having said that, it might just be clues to the idea that there's something going on with Amos. Because I think whenever they find the scientist guy, he talks to him about having his empathy part of his brain taken out. And maybe Amos just had that done. I think he started to sort of feeling like he had that done. Because Amos is very robotic. And he's very, you know, kill, kill, kill. I need to kill them. No emotions at all. So maybe it is just that the empathy was taken out of his brain. Maybe he can't feel empathy. But something tells me robot. Just something tells me robot. The Pinocchio quote from Naomi made me think robot, if I'm honest with you. Okay, so great show. One more thing I wanted to talk about actually before I go is I gauged that the fifth episode was an absolutely fantastic episode, but it really felt like the end of the season to me after 5 episodes. And I immediately thought to myself, and I don't know if this is correct, but I'm so sure it's correct that I'm pretty sure, right? I think this book ends with episode 5 of season 2. It's just such a perfect, rounded ending that it felt like, and then the next episode, episode 6, felt like the season beginning again. So I really feel like instead of squeezing it all in to one season, they've done a fantastic job. I think more shows should do this when they're adapting books, is that they've actually just let the story run, and then they've actually given the full story without squeezing anything out, and they've actually been able to let that storyline come to a fruition, even if it isn't at the end of a series. That doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So I enjoyed that. Let me know in the comments if I'm right, or maybe don't let me know if I'm right because I'm going to read the book. But yeah. All right. So that was my Expanse season 2 review. Look out for more Expanse videos, because once I'm caught up and I've done all my reviews, I think I'm going to start doing some video essays and some other videos in the Expanse, because I do genuinely love this show. I'm fully in on it. I'm going to try and watch season 3 this weekend, and then I'll try and get my season 3 review out next Thursday. So look out for that. Okay, so apart from that, thanks for watching. Subscribe on the YouTube channel. Subscribe to the After Dark podcast on audio apps. The After Dark podcast is a podcast where I take my friend Conrad through Dark, which is Netflix's German mystery show, one episode at a time. We just finished season 1. We went through all his theories, and we're gearing up to start season 2. So join us for that. It's really great fun. If you've never seen Dark, we'll start watching it and then watch along with us. Apart from that, thanks very much, and I'll see you in the next video.